Namaste. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how we can invoke the power of Saint Germain. How can we use this power to transmute lower vibrational things within us into something higher? How does it affect us? And to understand the role of the ultraviolet light or the ultraviolet ray of Saint Germain in the spiritual awakening process. We all are aware that ultraviolet rays or the ultraviolet light is used in wide range of things, right from medical to dental to industrial use. It is used to kill bacteria and viruses, and we are even aware and we are told that ultraviolet rays are harmful and they can cause skin issues for us. But these ultraviolet rays which are there within us, we have the ultraviolet zone within our body. Where exactly is this? This is the light spectrum. In this light spectrum, we exist. If you think of the universe as light or God as light, then there is a particular range in this light where the physical dimension we exist. So where is this? This is in the visible light area. These seven colors that you see in a rainbow, they are present within your body. They are the colors of your chakras. And these colors which are there in our chakras, they are expressing that range of light frequency through us. We are aware that the Agya chakra is the purple color zone, and above the Agya chakra, when we move through it and above it, there you move into the ultraviolet zone. Here you will see certain colors, maybe in vision or maybe in your dream space. And this sort of a purple or violet shade, it looks a little blackish because after the ultraviolet zone, you have the void, the dark void. So you are moving from the Agya Chakra purple into the dark void. So the shades of ultraviolet which you will see in your head when you are undergoing the process, it could be top-down awakening, it could be Kundalini awakening. At this phase, you will be seeing violet mixed with black, or you will see a kind of violet light trapped in a bottle, or you will see a lovely potion which is shining in the dark purplish color, or it could just be that dark purple color. But this color is radiant. It is very bright. It feels good when you see it. This light spectrum in the UV rays, I think it comes in the range of UVB range, around 267 hertz, because it is under this light a lot of experiments are done, and with the DNA and a lot of changes to DNA and incorporating new things into the DNA or mixing new DNA into the host DNA. All these type of experiments happen under these type of ultraviolet radiation, or when they're exposed to ultraviolet rays. Earlier, I made a video on how the ultraviolet rays within us, it opens up the DNA strand so that a lot of new information can be lodged into our earlier DNA. I'll post a link to that in the description box below. Please watch it. Spiritually, the color violet has a different meaning. Once you see violet, it simply means that you're operating from a higher frequency. You're not operating from your lower animalistic nature. Rather, your way of thinking, the way you perceive reality, everything comes from a higher level. And generally, when you're seeing purple, you're somewhere in between the transition that happens from the limbic brain to the cortical brain. I made a video earlier on the three levels of transition a soul has in an evolution. I'll post a link to that. You will understand what I mean when I say by limbic brain programming or moving into the cortical brain. So at this point where you are moving from the limbic brain patterns, the limbic brain, it contains our memory, it contains the lower egoic self, it contains our beliefs, our ideas, our perceptions, our pain, our fears, our desires, they are all a part of the limbic brain programming. As long as we are caught up in this programming, we cannot evolve. So, spiritual evolution process is a process which will take you beyond the limbic brain programming. And when you are moving beyond the limbic brain programming, you need to transmute the energy that is there in the limbic brain programming into something higher. For example, pain is transmuted into knowledge. Generally, when we experience pain in life or when we are angry, that anger, when it is there in the lower chakras, it can turn into severe hatred, revenge, and this can keep you caught up in a lot of drama, and this drama will make your focus stay externally, because of which you are too much involved in external reality. This way, you're giving away your power to the external reality. The power which can help you to evolve is being wasted away. But when we learn to forgive people, that same energy which was there in the lower chakras, it moves up into the heart level, the heart space. Here, it transforms into forgiveness. It transforms into empathy. And when this same energy, it moves up into the level of the third eye or a little beyond the third eye, there it changes into lessons. So when you're actually coming out of the limbic brain programming, it will only happen that everything that is there within you, the pain, the anger, whatever little hatred that is left, because by the time you reach this level, you have nearly cleared away a lot of your emotional baggage. You have changed a lot, but the last bits that are still there, which need to be cleared out, they need to be cleared out, and they're still hanging there because they have to be converted into knowledge. And the conversion of these things into knowledge or life lessons, it happens when you're moving away from the limbic region into the cortical region, and this is exactly where the ultraviolet rays work. So the ultraviolet rays, they help you to transmute the last bits of unfinished emotions, undealt things within us which are still hanging on, maybe the residues. That is what gets transmuted here. Because until everything is not converted into life lessons, the soul cannot completely evolve. At this level, that happens, and under the influence of the ultraviolet rays. So, when you're consciously trying to pull that energy up and take it up to the Agya chakra here. Say, for example, you're angry, and then the anger is in your stomach. So when you breathe in and when you are breathing out, you try to lift that energy up to the Agya chakra region. You can visualize that the energy is moving up. At the heart, it is transitioning into compassion, into forgiveness, and when it moves up into the Agya chakra, it is there, and you can now see why certain things happen in your life. Here at this level, you will understand the karmic connections. When you understand the karmic connections and you understand how life on earth operates, you sort of develop a detachment with the external reality. You understand that things work in a particular way in on earth, and people are programmed to think or behave in a particular way. Now you have a larger perspective of life. When you gain this understanding, the remaining residue which is there, which is attached to that particular incident, or maybe that particular person in general, maybe that person could have been in your life for maybe 25 years, maybe the person could have troubled you for 25 years. When you're into spiritual practice or you're trying to heal yourself, you will see that you're going through phases where you're crying, you're releasing, you're forgiving, and these cycles keep on repeating. No matter how many years you try to come out of that loop, you still find yourself clearing away the next level of pain or next level of trauma. So, the reason here is no matter how much of pain gets converted into forgiveness, there is still that lesson that has to be learned from it. And that life lesson can alone release you completely from this trauma. So, that last bits of trauma that is still there, it gets cleared away at the region of the ultraviolet zone. Here, it transforms into life lessons. You can see the karmic connection between that person and you. You can understand why that person entered your life. You gain a larger perspective, and that larger perspective releases you from the trauma. At this point, you are happy that you went through that 25 years of pain and you understand why it happened in your life, and you actually show gratitude towards that person who troubled you for 25 years, because here you are able to come out of the limbic brain programming to see the reality as it is. You cannot see the truth in your life or in the external reality as long as you are caught up in the limbic brain programming. It's once you transcend it, you come out, you have come out of the constraints of the mind to some extent. Here, you can understand why things happened the way they happened in your life. And this transforms into lessons. And these lessons, they liberate you. Once you have learned these lessons, you don't have to reincarnate. So, every soul is born to learn certain lessons on earth. And when they completely learn those lessons, they get a release from the cycle of life and death. So, what does the color violet mean spiritually? It means that you have reached a level which is closer to God. The reason why I'm saying this is the causal realm is just above the astral realm. So, till here, you have the astral realms in your body. In your physical body, you have chakras. So, from the root chakra, the Muladhara chakra, to the throat chakra, the Vishuddha chakra, it represents your physical presence, physical dimension, because here you have the five elements. From here to this region, a little over the Agya chakra, this represents your astral body. So your ultraviolet rays are working somewhere in this region. And above that is the realm of causal worlds. Here you have gods, goddesses. This is where you listen to mantras. When you are spending time in the causal realm, you want to stay in deep states of meditation. And after you have transmuted everything within you, you enter the dark void. In a top down awakening, the energy Kundalini is moving through the Sushumna Nadi, through this spine. So, this transition from the limbic brain to the cortical brain, or the movement when this is happening in their body, they will see those purple ultraviolet lights in their dreams or visions. And this happens as a one time thing. They come out of it, they don't have to go back and again go through the cycles. But when somebody is undergoing a top down awakening, in a top down awakening, the energy is not moving through the spine, rather, it is moving through the body. So, when the energy is moving through the body, once it clears away one level of the karmic baggage, when it goes out like that, it starts at the base and then it moves up, it pushes out all the psychic baggage and goes out like that as an auric field. So, this is your auric field or the electromagnetic field that is doing this. Here it happens in phases and it takes many years. So every time you experience the descent of grace or the descent of Shakti over you, the Shakti works through your body when it is going down. When it turns upwards, it is carrying away part of the baggage, part of your pain, part of your desires, part of your unwanted dysfunctional beliefs, ideas. Everything is carried and it is taken out of the system. It is pushed out. and that is your Vyana Vayu that is rising up, or the auric field. This happens in phases, and when this material which is there in the lower part of your body reaches this area where the ultraviolet rays are working, so one level of learning lessons is complete here. But again, the energy should descend, and again, that energy should work through the body. That cycle has to go on many times. Whereas in a Kundalini awakening process, it happens as a one time thing. Once Kundalini moves through Sushumna, it has gone beyond the limbic brain into the cortical brain. This is where you have your Manas or Buddhi Chakra region. Once it has gone up there, now it just moves up. So this thing is very intense in a Kundalini awakening, because the change has to happen suddenly, the shift has to happen suddenly, and the person has to come out. Whereas in a top down awakening, it happens on cycles, so it is more easier to manage when compared to a Kundalini awakening. So the color violet, it represents your connection with God, because you are moving into the cortical region where many deities are there. It is the realm of deities, gods, goddesses, mantras. And then this is more like a conduit, and this is even representing your higher thinking, your higher wisdom, uh, a connection with the divine. Here, once you move beyond the ultraviolet zone and you move into the black void which is there above the ultraviolet zone, you go into deep states of samadhi where you experience the void. The more you spend your time here, the more the impressions, the tendencies which you have, they are removed away from your uh, body. I mean, the subtle body. So, in a way, this ultraviolet rays are very important to transmute a lot of lower energies within us into higher knowledge. And that knowledge is what you take with you when you leave, when you move into higher dimensions. This is the three levels of brain I was talking about: the reptilian, the limbic, and the neocortex or the cortical brain. So the ultraviolet rays work somewhere between the limbic brain and the cortical brain. That is when you're moving away from your old programming into a new level of release. So everything gets transmuted here. Everything that is negative, which is limited, which is keeping you down in lower vibration, all that gets transmuted into life lessons. So fear, anger, pain, doubts, everything is converted to knowledge. When the energy is working in the limbic brain region and it is trying to release you from the old dysfunctional beliefs or ideas, you will experience lot of energetic movements in your brain. The limbic brain has many parts like the hypothalamus, the cerebellum, the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, amygdala, hippocampus. They all they get energized with this new energy that is entering the brain from down the body up. All these different parts of the limbic brain system, they are affected by this rising energy in your body. You will experience new nervous connections happening in your head. You will experience vibrations in various parts in your head, and you will even see that there is a rhythm to it, or there is a map through which this vibration is moving through your body. And then this vibration, it will change your nervous connections, and changing of nervous connections will change your perspective about life. This change has to happen because the spiritual process is not a mental process, it is a change in inner alchemy. So accordingly, the brain nervous connections change, and you can feel it as buzzing energies moving through your head, or electrical impulses moving through your head, or a lot of information moving through your head. And simultaneously, you will see that you're coming out of a lot of old ideas. Now, outside things don't affect you much. Those things which affected you a lot earlier, they have no power over you now. The vagus nerve also vibrates. because it is connected to the brain, and vagus nerve is about healing. So when you are working through your lower energetic energy, you are actually healing your vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is also vibrating. You can feel that. You can see that your meridian points are coming alive. The energy is moving through the meridian points. And once you have cleared away and moved beyond the ultraviolet zone, you will notice that your meditative states have become very deeper. The mental chattering has gone down, and you experience those phases of deep inner peace. When you wake up in the morning, you may not wake up with a chattering mind. You will just stay with that silence, with that beautiful feeling of emptiness which is there inside. And this kind of an emptiness is not an unpleasant emptiness. Rather, this emptiness is filled with a kind of a bliss, happiness, because once you're entering the causal body is where you have the amrita or the divine elixir. So you will be able to access some aspect of that divine elixir which will manifest as a level of joy or kind of silence which is mingled with peace. You feel good. And these phases keep coming and going. You can move into again a little painful phase and again come back into this phase. So there is this alternative phase where you are chattering, again you are in silence, again you are chattering, but this time things are coming to a closure. As we learn life lessons, the quality of our life changes. We become more sattvic in nature. We move away from lower animalistic nature, because when you are at the level of the buddhi chakra or the ultraviolet zone, here you're dealing with imagination. Generally, at the lower level, we are dealing with stuff which is coming from within us. A lot of pain from past memories or anger issues or fear issues, they're coming when the energy is working in the lower chakras. In our mind, we can have these animalistic lower energetic tendencies in the form of behaviors, in the form of thoughts, in the form of emotions, or in the form of imagination. So at the lower level, you are dealing with behaviors, you're dealing with strong emotions, you're dealing with thoughts. But at this level, you are dealing mostly with your imagination. That is, now you're not bothered about what happens externally. You're trying to change the imaginative aspect within you, because sometimes our brain keeps triggering old memories and we start reacting to those old memories from our inherent fears or from the repressed anger that is there within us, and our brain creates scenarios which are imaginative, which are not real. And once the brain starts creating these scenarios, the subconscious mind reacts, because subconscious mind only reacts. It cannot differentiate between an imagination and something which is happening really. So here at this zone, you will be generally working with the animalistic tendencies or the emotions or the thoughts which are there within us at the level of the imagination. These are mind generated. At the lower level, you have cleared away the emotion, you have forgiven the person, you have sort of worked through the thoughts, but there is still something that you have to learn from it. So at this level, the same thought, it comes out as an imagination. The same scenario is imagined differently. Here you're dealing with vikalpa. Vikalpas are mind generated imaginations. The reason why you have this here is because that last bit of whatever that is there within you that needs to heal, it has to convert into knowledge. Anything that is knowledge is sattvic in nature. There are three types of qualities or three types in which a person or even the universe expresses itself. That is sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Tamasic is very, you can say very cruel, uh, which is very dull, which is ignorance, all that is tamasic within us. And we live like that when you're living from the reptilian brain. Then comes the Rajasic. Rajasic is all about action, being externally oriented, being very passionate about doing things. All these things are Rajasic. And then comes Sattvic. Sattvic is joy, peace, knowledge. Sattvic quality is the closest to God. So when you are moving into the Sattvic quality totally, you are liberating yourself from these cycles of life and death. There will be a little amount of Rajasic quality so that you can work in the external environment. Otherwise, you cannot work in the external environment. But the lower tamasic qualities are totally removed from you. When we have these lower tamasic qualities, which are very animalistic in nature, we cannot move ahead or move into the higher dimensions. So you have to leave that here. So that last bit of animalistic tendencies which are there within us, which are tamasic in nature, at the level of imagination, they are cleared away at this level. And when they convert into knowledge, because at this point you are looking at life from a higher perspective, so you can understand how things work, how they are linked with each other. You can see your karmic connections with others around you. You understand why a very painful episode happened in your life. That learning, you can see it here, understand it here when the UV rays are working on your imagination. At this point, you will experience a shift happening at this side in the heart region. That is because the Manas chakra, that is the chakra which is above the Agya chakra. Your Agya chakra is the third eye chakra. Above it, you have the Manas chakra. Above it, you have the Buddhi chakra. So here you are in a way moving towards uh, operating from your higher self. So the Buddhi chakra is where you have the higher self. The Manas chakra, it is linked to the Manas Padma, which is there here. When the lessons that are learned by you, you sort of imbibe those lessons, you understand those lessons, you will not go back to your old behavior. So the animalistic tendencies at the level of the imagination are also getting removed here. When that happens, you can feel that some kind of a dial is turning in this region like that. A gentle, a twist in the dial. That is because Manas Padma, it has 8 petals. And 8 of these petals have different colors and they have different qualities. Few of these petals are Rajasic in nature, few are a mixture, few are Sattvic, few are Tamasic. So generally, if a person is very animalistic in his nature, 2 petals which are Tamasic in nature will be active within him. But when the person has transcended the animalistic behavior, even at the level of the vikalpas or imagination, the person has turned sattvic in nature. What happens is you can feel the dial turning here, and the 2 white petals, which represent the sattvic qualities within us, those 2 petals are active now. And now our perception of life, the way we experience life, our inner world, it all comes from higher knowledge because now the 2 white petals are active and you will only express your sattvic qualities to the external reality. Until those 2 white petals don't activate, the Kundalini will not move up into the causal realms because you cannot move into the godly realms with animalistic tendencies. So that has to be left here, and that happens as a transmutation at the level of the ultraviolet zone. And the ultraviolet zone, it has an effect on our DNA. It changes our DNA. Once the DNA changes and this new DNA becomes part of your body, it takes some time. You are a changed person. You are not the earlier person. You sort of tell yourself that, I'm not uh, what I was 10 years earlier. Today I'm a new person. I think differently. This happens because a lot of the animalistic tendencies which are there within us, they have got transmuted into higher knowledge. And now we are closer to the godly realms. When we move into a very sattvic way of living, We express the sattvic quality. We are not interested in what happens in the external world now. We become totally internally focused. We take back our power and we want to spend most of our time in silence. You want to be alone. You just want to sit and meditate or maybe take up some kind of a spiritual practice. It is actually from this level that a person's spiritual journey actually starts. Until now, the spiritual process in your body was preparing the container, the body mind container, to reach this level. Now you have cleared away your baggage, you have overcome the animalistic tendencies. From this point forward, your actual spiritual journey will start. You will move into the higher causal planes where you will experience uh, joy, bliss, the various encounters with gurus, gods, everything happens at this level. So, this is the starting point now. The energy that is descending upon you, the grace or the Shakti, it comes from the ashram you belong to. There are many ashrams that are monitoring humans on earth, and when they see that there is a soul that is ripe for evolution, the energy or the spirit is sent to this person. This person receives a Shaktipat transmission from that ashram. Or you might see that a guru will come into your life and that guru will give you Shaktipat. The ashram will be monitoring your progress when you're undergoing the process. There are many astral gurus, and one such guru is Saint Germain. I'm talking about Saint Germain because in my spiritual evolution, in my body, I have both happening. The Kundalini awakening moving through the spine, and I'm even experiencing a top down awakening. The top down awakening process, it comes from the ashram of Saint Germain to me. And Saint Germain is the keeper of the ultraviolet ray, which transforms humanity. And I told you how it transforms you. Saint Germain can be invoked to increase the ultraviolet transmutation in your body. When I was going through this phase, Saint Germain visited me. He injected a big injection full of fluid into my arm here. My entire hand was filled with fluid. I think he gave that in my astral body. The next morning, I googled him and then I saw that he was an alchemist. He's a philosopher, poet, artist, and he's a siddha, an enlightened being, and that he's still working with humanity. He is watching over humanity and he's there to help. That is what I understood. And I have to thank him because at that point in time, I was in a lot of pain. Saint Germain came into my life because I read in some book that I can call out to this saint and he'll come to help. I was not sure whether I could believe it or not. So I just read a prayer of Saint Germain and I forgot about it. Surprisingly, about 2 to 3 months later, he visited me and he gave me that big injection which I just spoke about. So the power of the violet flame, it can be invoked by praying to Saint Germain. The prayer to Saint Germain can be done regularly, especially when you are at that phase where you are dealing with imagination, not with the actual thing, not with your actual beliefs or with your actual emotions, but rather where you are mostly now focused on clearing away that imagination within you. This can be somewhere in the fifth phase of a top down awakening process. I made a video earlier on these 7 initiations in a top down awakening process. Please watch it. So, when you're in the fourth or fifth phase, it is very effective if you call out to Saint Germain because here you will be dealing with a lot of imagination. So, the prayer, it will help you to quickly transmute lot of negative energies into higher knowledge. Once that happens, you can move beyond the chattering of the mind, and you can move up into the cortical brain region or the causal realms. The way you can do this prayer is sit in a comfortable position, be grounded, be peaceful when you do this activity, and then you can invoke the violet flame of Saint Germain by asking him to send that flame to you. Here you can even chant something like I am or I exist, because when you're saying this word I am or I exist, it simply means that you're standing apart from your behaviors, from your attitudes, from your uh, ignorance, from your beliefs, from your ideas. So all layers are peeled away, and you're just standing there simply as you, a consciousness. So you can say this or chant this I am when you're calling him, and you can invoke that ultraviolet ray. And when you're doing this, please imagine that that ultraviolet ray is descending upon you. It is moving through your body. It is moving from chakra to chakra, cleansing away or transmuting a lot of negative energies in various chakras. It is rising up your spine, and it is working within your head. It is transmitting a lot of negative energy that is there within your head. And all that is, get turning into some level of knowledge within you. Because energy cannot be created, energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted. The best way to handle energy is to convert it into higher knowledge or higher emotion. Especially when it is the violet transmutational energy, then the lower qualities, lower energies are transmuted into higher learnings or higher knowledge. And this will take you to the sattvic state, which is very important for the higher spiritual processes to unfold in your body. The life story of Saint Germain is there on internet. Please go through it. He is considered to be immortal, and he's still there, and he will help somebody when they call out to him. And generally, many who have a top down awakening, if they belong to that ashram of Saint Germain, they will see him in their third eye, or they will have a visitation from Saint Germain. So he is not mythical, he is there, and he will work along with you and help you in your evolution. So please tap into the power of the ultraviolet rays that come from Saint Germain. Thank you.